welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today I got another really interesting article, and this time it's Forbes attacking Las Vegas of what's going on in the housing market in 2023. Let's see if they're right or if this is just some random person writing an article that doesn't know what they're talking about. So let's get into it. So in the first little article it says that Las Vegas, the exploded in population by nearly 20% in the last few years to 2.3 million people today. I think that's pretty accurate. However, this market seller-friendly housing trend has become more of a buyer's market in 2023, with home sales and prices showing signs of weakening in the first few months of the year. So I do think that Las Vegas is growing like crazy because I also moved here in the last few years, and I see why. There's a bunch of pros to Las Vegas. There's also cons, but there's so many pros when you're living in California to move to Las Vegas that it's almost a no-brainer, and that I agree with. So let's jump into Las Vegas housing market trends. So okay, let's see here. There's no doubt that Las Vegas real estate market is rebalancing. For instance, in September of 2022, Redfin reported that it was one of the most 100th markets in the United States. And I would agree with that. Metropolitan area declared that Las Vegas is the second fastest cooling market, and Seattle took the top spot. So yeah, I could see that Las Vegas is kind of cool. We're building so many new apartments and stuff like that. I don't know how much Seattle is, and I think there's other markets that are way cooling faster than Las Vegas because the DMV lines from people from California is just crazy. I know that a bunch of people are also moving away, of my friends that are moving for jobs. So they might be right, they might not. So this is we're gonna notice down the road if that's true or not. Home prices are dipping. So the next article is basically saying that a single family home was $495,000 in May of 2023, down 5.7% from a year ago. So I do think that interest rates driving up like crazy, that brings down the housing market. 5%, I have no idea, but that's from the Las Vegas Realtor Group. So yeah, that might be, yeah. So Redfin also shows data that 23% of listings had a price drop in May of 23. So, or a 1.6 decrease year over year price. So yeah, I could see that it went down a little bit, and there's just not that can qualify for a high amount that your house is actually worth, because interest rates and insurance and whatnot is so high now that you cannot afford that much house anymore as you could a year ago. So that brings us to the next one. Fewer homes are available. I get that. So the numbers of single family homes on the market in May of 23 was a little over 6,500, which is down 3%. So it's clear to me that people that have a 3% or 4% or even a 2.9% interest rates would not sell their house, because why would you sell something that you have such a low interest rate? It just doesn't make sense. You can rent it out or do something else, but you need to hold on to that asset and just go rent or do something else. So now we're looking at, according to the latest S&P Case-Shiller NV Las Vegas Home Price Index, the price index was 270.45 in April 2023, down 6.78% from a year ago, notably lower than July's 2022 peak of 300. Yeah, I don't know about that too much. It depends, because we bought earlier than that. So yeah, people had stimulus checks and they were balling. So now we're looking at, more conservative time estimates. And that also leads us into the median days on the market, that the houses now are longer on the market than they were before, just because there's not that many people looking as they were before, because high interest rates are really taking a lot of people out of the housing market. So when you buy something at 3% and your payment for $500,000 is $2,000, and now you take out $500,000 and you pay $5,500. That puts a lot of people in a really crazy position because they don't have the money to basically just say, okay, I'm just going to pay the money, pay the $5,000. So is it a good time to buy in Las Vegas? See what they says. Home prices in Nevada they're slightly to pick from because there's not that many for sale since homes remain historically expensive. Yeah, I get that. It's difficult to predict how much higher prices can go with the mortgage rates. So they're not really giving us an answer if it's a good time to buy or not. What I would say is you need to make sure that it fits into your finances. And when it fits in your finances, you should buy. But if you don't, then don't. And if you bought a car last year that you paid $30,000, $20,000 or $20,000 over asking price, and you have a $1,200 car payment, and now you can't buy a house because you have a $1,200 car payment, you just basically shot yourself in the foot. Congratulations. Is it a good time to sell a house in Las Vegas? So basically they're saying that it's a good time to sell. It might take longer. So, and they're not really giving us any other type of information about ensure you're competitively and it stands out. So they're not so because houses there's each house is kind of differently. You can't really like throw them all in a bucket and say, oh, you just got to price them right. That is the key point to selling everything. So they got some good stuff here. I wouldn't say I agree with everything. Time will tell. As the viewer, let me know what you think. If you're from there, what's going on in your housing market. And I will see you in the next one.